Dwayne Buckley, from caterpillar to butterfly, the journey continues. Life teaches us lessons every single day, but we miss most of it because we're busy focusing on what we already know. I took a walk this morning and I met a friend that immediately got the name Blue, because it was out of the blue the friend came. I stood for a few minutes and admired its beauty, but it had me wondering and comparing quite a few things. This butterfly was absolutely beautiful, and when it flew with grace and freedom. It had me questioning, was he always this admirable? Where did he come from? What challenges did he face coming into existence? The answer came right after. The butterfly wasn't always like that, and that's what made me look on how he got to the place that he is right now. Before becoming this beautiful butterfly, it had to go through a phase where most people scorn the mere existence of its life and form, a caterpillar. Does a caterpillar born knowing that it'll go through a transformation to become such a beauty that most people adore? Maybe. Maybe not. I watched the transformation and I can relate who I am today in a very similar way. As a caterpillar, I knew that there was something greater out there for me. I just didn't know what exactly, so I grew each day feeding on the things that were in the environment in which I existed. It could be said that I am a true product of my environment as a result. It took a certain level of maturity to realize for myself that I needed to change, to become better, to grow wings, so that I can escape the limitations and the culture in which this environment had. As the caterpillar changed into a butterfly, he had to go through a very defining phase where he had to accept that in order to become better he had to make sacrifices, shed himself of the things that couldn't help him to grow into this new being. The first change took place on the inside, and as for me, that's where my change began. I knew I never wanted to be the man that I was, and I wasn't meant to be average either. I had to make drastic changes, like the caterpillar. The caterpillar no longer had use for his head and feet. Now tell me how strange that was. The head that you would imagine to be the most critical component, but no, it was no longer needed. And as for me, I realized that during my own transformation I had to lose my head. I allowed my mind to control my actions instead of my heart, and that had a negative impact on the transformation process. The caterpillar also had to lose its legs. Yes, his mode of transportation. I relate to this also because on my journey to becoming the man I want to be, I had to lose my legs. I stopped running, and slowly stopped walking too, because I felt as if I was running down something that may not be necessary for my development, so my legs became useless. The last thing that went was its antennas. I decided to tune out and stop listening to the negative things around me as I focused on the constructive criticisms and the positive messages. I had no ear for anything else. I gave no consideration to those who would judge me, because who are they to judge my decisions when they didn't know what options I had to choose from in the first place? It is at that point the caterpillar turns itself upside down and slowly withdraws itself into a cocoon. It's funny how when our lives are turned upside down it's sometimes for the best. You get to see things from a different view, and put a lot more into perspective, and after withdrawing from certain actions, people, and places you realize that this was necessary to become such an amazing beauty. During the withdrawal stage, when the caterpillar's life is turned upside down, it goes through a major transformation. Nobody sees, nobody knows, nobody can tell what happens. All they know is that when the silence is broken, all you see is a beautiful butterfly that soars in the wind with colors that have been beautifully arranged. However, there's a flip side to that. Some people will say that they genuinely love butterflies, but the truth is that they have no idea what love is. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, NIV. That is love. The truth be told, they aren't patient enough to wait out the process. Some will give up on waiting and go seek a butterfly that have already been in existence, not realizing that all butterflies must go through the very same process. Some may stay for a while and then run out of patience, so they break the cocoon, giving a premature birth of something that isn't ready, not giving the time to see the final development, not waiting out the time to see its true colors. Instead, what you get is a butterpillar, one that cannot fly, and one that does not have the beautiful colors you'd imagine. Patience is a virtue. I'm still in my cocoon. This is where major transformation takes place. This is where I spend time with myself, understanding myself, coming to terms with the changes that I need to get used to, getting to be at peace with God and myself, learning about His will for my life, since I will never go back to feeding on leaves from branches. This is where I prepare myself for what is to come, for the greater good. This is where I'll learn to appreciate all my mistakes, my challenges, my life lessons. This is where I'll morph into something new, knowing well that after this, I will never be the same, never go back to where I've been. This is where I become a new me, where I can spread my wings and fly. This is just the beginning, because after the birth of a beautiful butterfly, then comes the desire to become even greater, the desire to become an eagle. Dwayne Buckley, From Caterpillar to Butterfly, the Journey Continues.